Hello everybody, Patrick Glenn Nichols, Muscle Car Barn Finds, and today I'm up here just outside of Chicago, Illinois, checking out this really cool Cranberry Red 1970 Chevelle SS454 LS6. A lot of you guys are aware that Cranberry Red 70 Chevelles are my absolute favorite next to Tuxedo Black. In my opinion, they are in a class all their own. They are the poster child of the entire muscle car era, in my opinion. So there's just nothing any more cool than a red with black stripes 70 Chevelle. This car being a holy grail example, an LS6 M22 4.10. Does have a copy of the original build sheet. The owner is in the process of searching for the owner who possibly may still have or retain the actual build sheet that the copy was made from. This car was entered into the LS6 registry back in 2019 with the build sheet. I am here now to professionally authenticate the car, and the car does retain its original authentic CRV LS6 engine dated March the 13th, 1970. This car is a first week of April 1970 Chevelle from the Kansas City, Missouri assembly plant. I actually own a red with red interior bucket seat car, LS5, from the Kansas City and Missouri assembly plant the same week, the first week of April, just within a couple hundred units of this car. Really, really cool car. The car does have the usual replacement, lots of repo. Both quarter panels have been changed. The usual thing, you can see the rear bumper pad is a reproduction, so it does have some things that have been changed, which you'll see on most every car, but the really solid foundation is here. You just don't see many numbers matching LS6 with the original engine, and especially in the holy grail super desirable color combo of red with black stripes and bucket seats and tack and gauges, manual transmission with a console. So I'll do what I normally do, my version of the walk around video, which is my version of a report. It answers a lot of questions. You know, you can go back to these videos years from now and answer questions you wouldn't dream that the video would capture, but it does do that. So that's why I am really a fan of the video. It does create a permanent record that cannot be altered, lost, or changed, or any type of fraud. So you see, and what you see is what you get. You know, it's June 2024, and this car will go into my database and my records of a car that I have inspected and endorsed. I will be issuing an endorsement on this car, although, you know, cars do have reproduction, but it does not mean that this car is not an authentic car. So it does also retain the original rear axle. The M22 has been changed. So let's go around the car the best I can and show you what's here and get a good idea of what type of car we have here. You can see the rear stripes are really nice. A lot of times they're too fat, too skinny, something's done wrong, and a lot of times the deck lid emblem is always the incorrect one. When I say always, a lot of times. So it's really good that it has the correct deck lid emblem and the stripes are nice. Car does retain the original rear glass dated LT, L for March, T for 1970. A couple other pieces of the window glass are original, but the windshield has been changed. You can see on both sides, both quarter panels, the stampings and the dates are no longer there, so it has new metal. This quarter panel does sit up at just a slight bit of an angle there, and the spot wells are no longer there. And that F7014 under the deck lid, that's incorrect. That should be taken off. It should have the positive traction decal or the paper warning decal along with the jacket instructions, which is not present. That is a reproduction spare, and all four of the wheels with the car are YAs, which are dated too early to be correct for this car. So the car does need some AO wheels, which would be something the owner could look into, maybe locating for the car. So we'll go down this side. Car does show up really, really well. You can see I've got the trim rings off where I have documented the wheels that are present here today, June of 2024. So let's show you some shots of the interior. 99.9% of the interior is reproduction, aside from the console, the seat belts, and I believe the radio. Aside from that, we got reproduction seats. It does have the UM1 AM and tape. You can see the incorrect trim on the pedals, which is not correct, and a reproduction dash as well. Should have rear speakers for stereo, and the car does not have front speakers as well. So as of right now, the radio, of course, does not work on the car. The car did not come with NK1 sport steering wheel, and that's also a reproduction. The car had this standard steering wheel from the factory. What you see there as far as the shifter is what a lot of guys are the biggest fan of, is with a Muncie handle and a Hearst shifter. That's what we have here. The car does shift really, really well. Of course, when I say 99%, that's what I mean. So the door sill plates are also reproduction, along with the window cranks, so forth and so on. Moving along, it does retain the original Cowl induction hood, the early version on a March car. I actually own, again, a March of 1970 Chevelle from Kansas City, Missouri, and it also has the early version hood with the small inserts. And you can see the entire hood pin setup is reproduction, but we do have 4 T3 headlights. And the car does show up well as far as the front is concerned. You can see the molding under the headlights. I would say that should not be there. That generally didn't last all the way up until April of 70. The only way to prove or disprove that would to see a handful, a dozen or so Kansas City, Missouri, first week of April cars, or even after, that still retain that. And in my opinion, the April cars that I have seen did not retain the lower headlight moldings. Moving along to under the hood, you can see the incorrect crayon markings. It does have the 4557 carb. HEI distributor is incorrect. The power brake booster is incorrect, along with the master cylinder. And again, the crayon markings should not be there. A lot of guys, it's a pet peeve to have those cowl grills. That should be removed as well. They never had that. But you get a good shot of the original Cowl induction hood, which I think is still retained with the car from day one. It does have a B of 70 heavy duty cooling, XJ, 4-speed red still in the car. If you can focus on that right there, XJ and B for the date. We do have an original 291 lower pulley, and I believe the power steering pulley is a reproduction. And also I believe that the metal, a Kansas City, Missouri plant car should have metal inner fenders, but I believe both of these are reproduction. Moving along, of course, you can also see the washer jar is incorrect. The later version, not the square 70 model. Moving along to the Cowl tag, do a little focus in here. Okay, 13637, KAN, 881472, which I'll show you the build sheet here in a second. You can match that up. 756 for black bucket seat interior, 7575 for Cranberry Red, upper and lower, 04A, first week of April. And then you got the data processing numbers, which I'll show you, which is on the build sheet as well. And then the infamous L. And then I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but somewhere around the first week of April is when the Kansas City, Missouri assembly plant began putting the D88 hood and deck stripe color on the Cowl tag. So you see the B for black stripes. So that's showing up well. Neat car here. Again, Cranberry Red, black stripes, Cowl induction. You just don't find much more of a more desirable color combo, and now it's been authenticated with the numbers matching engine as well. You can see the correct rivets for the correct procedure for a Kansas City, Missouri assembly plant in place. And I'll walk around here one time, give you a quick shot, which I post the pictures. I always do high resolution pictures on the internet of the stampings for those who want to check that out. Because not sure, but I'll try to focus real and be still right here to give you an idea. You can see the T0313 CRV with the correct font. The car does have the correct font for the VIN stamping as well on the engine. Again, check my social media pages that will be posted on the social media for those who want to survey those stampings. And you can also see it under the dash pad, and I believe we have a ink stamping on the gauge cluster dated March of 1970. Moving around to the driver's side real quick. You still see the reproduction dash, brake pad, clutch pedal, incorrect, and the brake release T-handle is also a reproduction or replacement, not the original assembly line item. So let's go up in the air for a second, show you some shots underneath the car just for record standpoint, so you can see the transmission, which is incorrect, along with the original M22 of original rear axle. So let's go up. Okay, here we go. So we'll use some quick shots underneath. You can see right off the bat, the original lower radiator support, heavy duty cooling is still in place. That looks to be at like an original 291 AB with the right spot welds. We spoke before, both of the brake calipers have been changed. They are replacements. Moving along, you can see the 621 bell housing right there. And you can also see that the M22 is out of a 1971 model. So it's incorrect, but really, really nice floor pans, front to rear. Like I said, give you some shots of that. So from records keeping standpoint, where you can see the underneath of this car, do the best that I can. You can see the gas line and the return line has been changed for a frame off car. Factory box control arms, and give you a good shot of this original CRW rear. Really neat, for sure. I can focus right there. Again, I'll have shots of that on my social media. I know a lot of guys want to survey those things, and the casting date of K10, November the 10th, 1969. Right down this side again. So, 1970 Chevelle SS454 LS6. Excuse me. Matching engine, will be authenticated and issue my endorsement. Here's a quick shot or two of the original build sheet, which the owner is in the process of trying to locate. Which owner may possibly still have this build sheet. All he has present is this copy. And it reads like a who's who of LS6. Cranberry Red, LS6, M22 4-speed, console, buckets, tack, gauges, cowl induction. You just don't build it much better than this car was born. Much better than this one. It's a really, really cool 1970 Chevelle we have here, just outside of Chicago, Illinois. Oh, and by the way, nice shot here of the original cowl induction air cleaner, which actually adds some credibility to the car. It definitely was not searched out. When a car retains, you can see the stretch marks of the original, characteristics of an original GM cowl induction air cleaner. So the car really checks out a lot. It has a lot of credibility. Of course, it has the home run shot is the CRV original LS6 M22 engine. Not many LS6s retain their original engine, especially not a Cranberry Red. There's roughly a little over 300 in the National Registry. What percentage of those are numbers matching with the original engine? Very low. So original Cranberry Red LS6 M22 4.10 with the matching engine. Only thing it's really missing is the transmission as far as the driveline is concerned. So it will be issued my endorsement, and it's also in the National Registry as we speak is number 60 in the Kansas City, Missouri plant section. I'm Patrick Glenn Nichols. I hope you enjoyed this video of this really cool Cranberry Red, my favorite, LS6 Chevelle up here just outside of Chicago, Illinois. Please like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate all of the participation and comment on my page. It really helps me. And my endorsement is really doing well in the marketplace. It's really proven I'm staying busy, and a lot of guys have, really assisted me, and I'm staying busy just about every state I've been to doing this, and I've helped a lot of guys buy really nice cars, and a lot of people sell their cars for good money. So things are working well. Don't hesitate to reach out to me at pnichols26 at Yahoo, or Patrick Glenn Nichols Muscle Car Barn Finds on Facebook and YouTube. Hope you enjoyed the video. More videos on the way.